Hello class 11th. Today we are going to start with our next chapter, that is central problems of an economy. As discussed in the earlier video, we have seen why an economic problem arises because of three reasons. The first being limited resources, second alternative uses, third human wants are unlimited. Be it any country, say India or USA or Japan, all countries face similar types of central problems. Over here, as discussed earlier, limited resources are what? They are resources which are available for us to consume as individuals or households, and they are limited. Since they are limited, we go for the best option. We have to choose. So over here we have the alternative uses. Okay, and this alternative use depends upon the unlimited resources. Why? Since the resources are limited, we have to choose between the resources which will maximize our satisfaction. And third, human wants are unlimited. So these three problems are the causes of central problems. Now there are three types of central problems. The first one is what to produce. Okay. The first one is what to produce. Second point is how to produce. We have to first decide that what we have to produce according to the given situation, according to the demands and needs of the consumers. Second, how to produce, that means we are going to discuss over here the techniques of how to produce that particular product. Third, for whom to produce. Over here we have to discuss for whom to produce. That means which part of the society or what all types of people would want that product. So these are the three types of central problems that we will discuss in detail. First we will discuss about what to produce. Here we have to see that what goods we have to produce and in what quantity we have to produce those goods.
Next we move on to the topic how to produce. The second main problem of an economy is how to produce goods or how to organize production. Once we understand the production of both consumer goods and capital goods is essential, another question arises: how much of consumer goods and how much of capital goods? Because owing to the limited resources, more of consumer goods would mean less of capital goods, and more of capital goods would mean less of consumer goods. Every society has to decide on how much of which of the resources to use in the production of each of the different goods and services, which brings us to two techniques of production. The first is labor intensive technique and the second is capital intensive technique. Labor intensive technique. Under this technique, labor is used more than capital, and in capital intensive technique, capital is used more than labor. An economy must decide as to which technique is to be used in a given industry so that efficient production is obtained. Efficient technique of production is that which uses the least amount of scarce resources to provide the same amount of output, or in other words, the production would be undertaken at minimum cost. For example, let us assume that India has more of labor-intensive labor-intensive technique. In an economy, the technique which is available more will be used more for production. So it will be better for India to use more of labor-intensive technique. Likewise, if any country has more of capital-intensive technique, it should use only that technique. Next, we come under the heading for whom to produce. Next, we move on to for whom to produce. Owing to limited resources, an economy cannot produce goods for all sections of the society, isn't it? So, in every economy, we have two sections of society. One is poor and the other is rich. Suppose I had to produce a marker or a pen or a pencil. I decided how to produce it, like what all techniques I have to use, and how can I make it accessible for the society. So there are two aspects. First, the factorial distribution or the functional distribution, And second is interpersonal distribution or personal distribution. Factorial distribution of income or functional distribution, this includes factors of production like land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, etc. And the second one, the personal distribution, that is interpersonal distribution of income. For this, we see what is the level of income. So an economy decides how to distribute, whether it will be for personal distribution or for functional distribution. Social justice is promoted if more goods are produced for the poor. It would reduce inequality or promote equality. But there is a hidden cost of doing it. By producing goods for the poor, the profits of the producers would remain low. How? Because when you produce something for the goods, you have to keep the prices lower, isn't it? And by that, and by keeping the prices lower so that they can buy it, you cannot earn much profit. So low profits would mean low investment, implying low GDP growth. The economy would remain backward for a long time to come. Thus, there is a problem of choice, whether social equality or GDP growth. So a country or an economy has to decide very specifically and survey a lot to decide for whom or for which sections of the society it has to produce. Next, we move on to solutions of different problems in different economies. Solution of different problems in different economies. Different economies solve the central problems differently. So here we're going to focus on three main solutions. First is the market economy, second is centrally planned economy, and the third is mixed economy. Let us focus on the market economy. It is an economy in which economic activities are left to the free play of market forces. Now over here, what do we mean by free play of market forces? It means that producers are free to decide what, how, and for whom to produce. On what basis do they take the decisions? Yes, it is on the basis of demand and supply in the market. This means that what to produce is determined by consumers. How to produce is determined by producers, and who gets the products, it depends upon the purchasing power of consumers. Market economies work by allowing the direct interaction of consumers and producers. Over here, there is no government interference. That means the producers are free to set the price, and over here, there is a great chance for the producers to gain their profit or to maximize their profit. Competition is the main feature of the market economy. Why? Because over here the producers are always in competition as to who will gain or who will maximize their revenue. It is also called as capitalist economy, as over here capital generation takes place. Now over here we can also say that the producers will produce goods and services for those buyers who are willing to offer them maximum possible price. Next, we move on to centrally planned economy. It is an economy in which the course of economic activities is decided by some central authority, or simply we can say by the government. Over here, all decisions are taken with a view to maximize social welfare. In market economy, over here, the decisions are taken with a view to maximize the profit. And in centrally planned economy, it is done with the view to maximize the social welfare of an economy. It is not a free economy. That means the producers do not have any role over here. Over here, anything that is to be planned, first it has to be discussed by the government. If the government allows, then only it applies in the economy. It is also called as command economy or socialist economy. Why command economy? Because basically the command is given by the government or by a central authority, and the producers and the consumers have to act according to the central authority or by the government. Why is it known as socialist economy? Because it is done to maximize the social welfare of an economy. Those goods and services which are produced by the central authority, they are found to be most useful for the society. That technique of production is adopted which is socially most useful. Like in a situation of mass unemployment, for example, labor intensive technology will be preferred so that the employment is increased and unemployment is reduced. Goods will be produced preferably for those residents who are suffering from hunger or starvation, even when it implies loss in production. Here we see that the government or the central authority sees the welfare of the society so that over here any products which are produced or any services which are produced, it is used or consumed by the consumers, be it of any society, in a maximum possible way. Next, we have mixed economy. Mixed economy combines the merits and avoids the demerits of market and centrally planned economies. Both private and government sector coexist to promote self-interest and social interest. Over here, self-interest is promoted by the private sector and social interest is promoted by the government sector. Both go hand in hand and decide accordingly so that they are able to satisfy the producers are the private sectors able to satisfy their self-interest of generating maximum profit, and the government also promotes social interest so that the society gains maximum profit. In certain areas of production, producers are free to take the decisions with a view to maximize their profits. Over here, the stricts are the rules are not so strict, but be it any economy, but in mixed economy, if a private sector has to promote its self-interest, it has to go by the rules of the government sector or the central authority. Without the permission, they are not able to set their rules on their own and gain profit out of it. In certain other areas, decisions are taken entirely on the basis of social considerations. Here, the private sector doesn't play much role because the private sector cannot interfere on totality of what are the rules and regulations set by the government sector for the social welfare. So these are the three basic economies and they are known as a solution of central problems in different economies. Next, we move on to the topic that is opportunity cost. The definition is opportunity cost is the cost of next best alternative foregone. Or, to put it in simple words, we can say the second best alternative uses of resources. Let us understand this in simple terms. For example, you have a piece of land and you are using it for production of crops, say wheat and rice. With production of wheat, you're earning rupees 1000 and for that of rice, you're earning rupees 1200. Now the demand of wheat is more than rice. So what will you do then? As you know that the production of wheat, with the production of wheat you can earn rupees 1000 but with that of rice you're earning rupees 1200. That means 200 rupees extra than the wheat. But the demand of wheat is more than rice. So you will sacrifice rice as wheat is in demand. As resources are scarce, the society is always forced to make choices. Therefore, the amount of other goods and services that must be sacrificed to obtain more of any one good is called the opportunity cost of that good. Hence, opportunity cost is the cost of next best alternative foregone. The word foregone means to decide not to have or do something that you want. Let us take another example. Suppose you have rupees 20,000 and you want to purchase one laptop and an LED TV. But with only rupees 20,000 in hand, you can buy either of the two things, not both the things. Say suppose you decide to buy the laptop, to purchase the laptop. Then opportunity cost of choosing the laptop is the cost of the foregone satisfaction. Foregone satisfaction means the LED TV which you are not buying. This example clearly demonstrates a fundamental economic condition. As our resources are limited, we are always forced to make choices between alternate commodities. Thank you. We will continue in the next topic in the next class.